Hello everyone, my name is Richie and welcome back to another video. Today you join me for, well, what is a very big announcement video for Train SimWorld 5. Yes, it's been announced, it's coming very soon on September the 17th. And well, today we're going to be talking about what you can expect from the upcoming game. We're going to talk a little bit about the core routes, the Loco DLCs that are going to come as part of the Deluxe Edition. And we're also going to be diving into some of the new features that are coming with the game and even talking about some future routes. Spoiler alert, I'm very excited for some of them. So yeah, let's jump into what we can expect to see from Train SimWorld 5. I'm very excited, and I know a lot of you are very excited too. So let's jump into some initial information. I know a few people have asked me a few questions about this, so I'll clear up any confusion about like the whole core game being free and all that sort of stuff. So if you're unsure about anything, then make sure to stay tuned and I'll try and go into as much detail as possible. So a bit of initial information about Train SimWorld 5. We're getting 3 new routes, which is the West Coast Main Line, Euston to Milton Keynes Central. I'm very excited for that. We're getting the San Bernardino Line and the Kinzigtalbahn. I hope I've said that right. I've probably butchered that. We're getting 2 Loco DLCs as part of a deluxe edition, the Flixtrain Vectron and the Class 390 Pendolino. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I can't wait to see a Pendolino in the game. I've been waiting for it for years. The release dates are, if you get the early access, which is part of the deluxe and special editions, you can play the game as early as the 12th of September, which is only, what, 3 weeks away? Less than that now. And the full release date is the 17th of September 2024, so not long to wait at all. The new features are the conductor mode, route hopping, fast travel, and the live map 2.0. I will go into a bit more detail about these. And we've got some other news about 6 future routes and the fact that the base game is free. I'll go into more information about that and clear it up for you. So as part of this new release, you do get Train SimWorld 5 for free for the first 30 days if you already own a Train SimWorld title, which means that you can go from Train SimWorld 2020 to Train SimWorld 5 if you really want to. I'll explain what that means. So basically, the core game is the training centre, because obviously that's where all the training modules and whatever else go on to. So you won't get any new routes, but if you have any Train SimWorld any routes for any of the Train SimWorld games, so let's say you've got Great Western Express on TSW 2020 and you like the look of Train SimWorld 5, you can get the training centre and the TSW 5 compatible version of Great Western Express for free. And that will be available from release date on the 17th of September for a month. What I must stress is that the only thing you have to pay for Train SimWorld 5 is the new routes, which is what you'd have to pay for anyway. So you'd normally have to pay about 30 quid for a route. Obviously, if you pay for the standard, you get 3 routes for 40 quid, which is a pretty decent deal if you ask me. So I hope that makes sense. Essentially, the core game, the training centre, and all your existing routes, any route that you've got on any Train SimWorld iteration will come across for free. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, but if you do have any other questions about it, please leave them in the comments and I'll try and clear it up the best I can. So, what are we getting with Standard Edition? We're obviously getting the Training Centre, which is the quote-unquote core game. We're getting the San Bernardino Line, the West Coast Main Line, London to Milton Keynes, and Frankfurt Fulda for 40 quid. 3 routes for 40 quid when they're normally 30 quid each. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me. For the Deluxe Edition, you get all the Standard Edition stuff, plus the Pendolino and the Flixtrain Vectron. Also Cajon Pass, interestingly. I think that's for layers on the San Bernardino line. So what's that? 4 routes and 2 Loco DLCs for 60 quid. You're laughing, that's an absolute steal, that. And if you've hardly got any Train SimWorld routes and you really want to bulk up your collection, you can get this special edition, which I think is a fantastic deal. You get all the Deluxe Edition content, plus Castle Würzburg, London Underground Bakerloo Line, New York Trenton, Suffragette Line and Bremen Oldenburg, which I think all add to the different core routes. So I think that's a really good deal. Honestly, I mean, if you work that, let's work it out. So all the core routes will be 30 quid each. So that's what? That's 90 quid there. You've got Loco DLCs, let's say they're 15 quid each. That's another 30 quid for the 2 Loco DLCs. So that's 150 quid. Is that right? No. Yeah? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so 120 quid for the new routes, plus the Cajon Pass, that's another 30 quid. So that's 150. Then you're up to 180 with Castle Würzburg. And then New York Trenton was also 30, so that was 210. And then the other 3 routes are 25 quid each, so that's 75 quid for that. So that's, what, 285 quid worth of DLC, like, for 104 quid? That's an absolute steal. So yeah, if you want to bulk up your collection, go for that. It's also good to note that if you do own TrainSimWorld, you do get a loyalty discount of 10%. So because I'm a PlayStation user and I've got PlayStation Plus, I got 10% off when buying it, so it knocked it down to 54 quid for the deluxe edition, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me. And of course, we've got the first TrainSimWorld 5 roadmap, which has got a lot of interesting things, which we're going to go into a little bit of detail on today. But we've got, well, a Welsh route for one, we've got a Dutch route, and we've got West Coast Mainline over Shap. I'm very, very excited for the future of TrainSimWorld. So let's talk a little bit about the core routes that are coming as part of TrainSimWorld 5. I'm very excited for these routes. You know, they look decent, they look really, really good. I will just quickly throw out there that these 3 core routes, I will make what you can expect videos for each one of them. So if you want to know more information about the timetabled layers, service count, route features, all that sort of good stuff, I will do them in separate videos just prior to all the preview streams. So keep an eye out for them. So let's start off with the West Coast Main Line South, as that is the first route that is being previewed on the 29th. So that is less than a week away. Oh, that's so exciting, I can't wait. And this route is London Euston to Milton Keynes Central, which I predicted right in my predictions the other week. I got it right, almost. With this route, we're getting the London Northwestern Class 350, and interestingly, the Southern Class 377-2. I wasn't expecting that. So here's a lovely little graphic they've provided us with. It's 50 miles, 28 stations. You can see we've got the 350-1 there, and the 377-2. As you can see, the 4-line S line is included, and a few people were asking me, can the 710 and the London Underground stock be used? Yes, I think the full Bakerloo line timetable is going to be included in the timetable services for the West Coast Mainline South, which means that when I do my what to expect video, I think there's going to be a ton of services. I'm expecting there's going to be a good 600-700 services. It's going to be a massive timetable. We obviously also got the 377, which I think, depending on when they set it, it's going to be, I think they would do 4-line runs, wouldn't they? Would they? Or would they do just Watford to Milton Keynes? I'm not too sure what the 377 does. So here we go. Here's a lovely little screenshot they've provided us with. You can see the 350 in the middle there. You got the 377 in the background and the 710, which I assume would be on the Lioness line. I'm not too sure where this has been taken, but you can see you'll be passing a lot of trains. It's going to be very, very busy. And here's another one which looks like the 377 and the 350 are going in the same direction. So you can have races with the 377 and the 350. Oh, I love a good race. So to break down the West Coast Mainline South Euston to Milton Keynes, it's got 50 miles and 28 stations. You get the full Lioness line and part of the Bakerloo line. You also get some nice route features such as Wembley Stadium, and also we've got a very complex and a super busy Euston station. I can imagine this is going to be almost as busy, if not busier, than London Victoria on Brighton Main Line. And the included rolling stock with this route, you've got the London Northwestern Class 350, the Southern Class 377-2, the DB Class 66 and the 1972 stock. That's actually quite surprising that the 1972 stock is included as part of the base package, so you don't have to add Bakerloo line to have layers on the Bakerloo line part of the route in West Coast Mainline South, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, although it's included as part of the special edition, you don't even need to have the route to get the layer, which is quite cool. And some other layers that are known so far are the Class 710, obviously the 390, which comes as part of the deluxe edition, and hopefully some rail tours. I will come on to this a little later. So the second route we're getting is the San Bernardino line, LA Union to San Bernardino, which looks like a really good route. And we're getting the MP36PH and the F125, I think it's called, included in this route. So the San Bernardino line is 57 miles and 16 stations. Obviously you get the MP36PH and the F125 there. I think there's different types of Rotom cab cars. I think there's different liveries and stuff for them. It's quite a linear looking route, but it's got some cool features like you run in the middle of a highway for quite a big chunk of it, which is quite bizarre, to be honest. And obviously you go from an urban setting, which is LA, you go through like the desert, the sort of outback, and then you end up in San Bernardino, which is another little urban setting. So it's going to be quite a varied and interesting route. The only thing I do know about this is that the timetable isn't great. But I do need to do some more research into it, so I will do that before I make that what to expect video for this route. So here's a wonderful little picture of the MP36PH, and I think that's a Rotom cab car, isn't it? And here's a lovely little picture of the MP36PH at night. It's looking like a good route. So yeah, the San Bernardino line is 57 miles and 16 stations. It includes the CMF and EMF depots. I'm not too sure what significance they have, but depot moves and stuff, pretty darn cool. It's got that highway section that I was on about, and obviously got a very busy LA Union station, which will have obviously the stock going off up the Antelope Valley and stuff like that. And the rolling stock included is the Metrolink MP36PH and the Metrolink F125. And you'll also get some freight layers from Cajon Pass. And I think that's it for layers. I'm not too sure what else would layer onto this route. So yeah, I'm quite excited for this one. I do know that a lot of the American rail fans aren't too happy with this, because obviously the German route and the UK route are pretty darn insane. This is sort of like, it's not as good as those two routes, I think. Anyway, that's what people are sort of expressing online. But I mean, it looks good. It's a decent length route. At least it's not a small route. And I mean, US rail fans have obviously got some other routes that are coming out which are in the works, which I'll talk about later as well. And on to the final route, the German route. Right, brace yourself for this pronunciation now. Kinzigtalbahn. Kinzigtalbahn. Yeah, is that right? No idea. Which is Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof to Fulda Hauptbahnhof with the iced tea, which a lot of people are very excited about, and the DBBR 114. So the longest of the core routes is this, the Kinzigtalbahn. I'm just going to call it Frankfurt to Fulda because it's really, really difficult to say. It's 24 stations, 64 miles. It includes the DBBR 411, the iced tea, the 193 Vectron, 423, the 146, and the 114. A lot of locos there, a ton of locos. This looks like a very incredible route. It looks like it's going to be very busy, a lot of different sort of types of movements. I'm not normally fussed about German stuff, but I can appreciate that German routes are pretty nuts, and they're usually really busy as well because you've got every single like piece of stock that can layer onto it. We obviously get Frankfurt, which is a really, really big station. I think what it says there, it's the busiest German main station, so a pretty key station in Germany, to be honest. And, well, my prediction was completely off with this, but not far off. Like, you know, it's not too far away from where I predicted. So there we go. There's the iced tea in all its glory. It looks like quite a cute little train, doesn't it? Look at it. And this is, I believe, the approach into Frankfurt, which looks insane. Look at the cityscape, for one. The cityscape looks so good. So, yeah, the Kinzigtalbahn. Route features 64 miles, 24 stations, and Germany's busiest station. It's also a very busy main line according to the graphic as well. I don't know how true that is, but I can imagine it's quite busy. And the included rolling stock is the DBBR 411 iced tea, which is the new Loco, the 193, which is the Vectron, 423, the 146, and the 114. I think there'll be freight and stuff on this, wouldn't there? The layers for this will obviously be the Flixtrain Vectron, and when I put all sorts for other layers, I mean pretty much any applicable Loco, German Loco, can layer into this, can't it? Like the 218, the 185, or you know, most of them can layer into this route. So there'll be a ton of layers. So yeah, let's jump into the Loco DLCs that you get as part of the Deluxe Edition. We got two Locos like we did last year. We got the Scotsman and the Vectron last year. So what do we get this year? We get another Vectron. Interesting choice, I won't lie. But Flixtrain, a really cool operator to have in TrainSimWorld. Obviously, I play a lot of Fernbus, and you've got the Flixbus branding in that. So very cool that we can get the train version of it. But yeah, these are seen pretty much all over Germany. They're sort of like the cheaper alternative, aren't they? So that's the German Loco, and what have we got for the UK? Drum roll please. The Pendolino. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to give this a go. I can't wait. So yes, the Class 390 Pendolino is coming to TrainSimWorld. I never thought I'd say it, but here we go. The Pendolino, what an icon. What an absolute beautiful train. Growing up in Birmingham, seeing the Avanti West Coast and the Virgin trains, Pendolinos, they were beautiful. They're such a key like icon from my train spotting days when I was 7-8 years old. So I'm very, very happy to see these, and I can't wait to give them a go. Honestly, it's going to be fantastic. With this as well, we obviously get the 9 and the 11 car variant, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to give these a go. I can't wait. So there you go, the Class 390 Pendolino. It's a tilting train. It's an iconic Loco. It's very, very highly requested. I think it's probably the most requested Loco in the game. And it comes in 9 and 11 car variants, which is good. And then we also get the Flixtrain Vectron, which is in Flixtrain branding. Interestingly, brings Vectron use for passenger services. I know a lot of people have asked about that. I think the key feature is, well, it's green, isn't it? It makes it a bit more varied in Germany. Obviously, it's all red because of DB. So, nice bit of lime green. I won't lie. for German Loco DLCs, it probably wouldn't have been my first choice. And, you know, considering we had the Vectron last year, I'm not too sure how to feel about it, but I'm happy that such a significant operator is now in the game as well. So let's talk a little bit about the new game features. A couple of things were mentioned in the Dovetail Direct, and yeah, they look quite good. So we've got the very highly requested conductor mode, which will be available for TSW5 routes only. So I think there'll be select services in the timetable mode. So just to, you know, it's important to say that this will be a mode in timetable mode, so you can jump into a service in the 24-hour timetable and be a guard on one of them, but I think it's only select services. It will say there'll be like a little icon that shows you what services you can do the guard mode on. You've got a fast travel, which is an interesting feature, I won't lie. I'm not too sure if people have really suggested that, but it's interesting and it certainly seems convenient. We've got route hopping, which is basically route mergers, and I'm very happy to see that. You know, being able to seamlessly go between routes, it's going to be great. Like from a viewer's choice streams and stuff like that, it's going to be brilliant. We can just, you know, go from Great Western Express to Bakerloo Line and then jump onto, you know, it'd be cool that you can jump into Great Western Express, then sort of like, it won't be seamless, there'll be like a loading screen, but you can go from Great Western Express and then jump over to Bakerloo Line, do a couple of stations on the Bakerloo Line at Queen's Park, and then jump onto the West Coast Main Line and then go up to Milton Keynes. It's going to be quite cool. It's going to be quite interesting. This is also going to be coming to all routes that are applicable. So if there's two routes that have the same station, i.e. Fife Circle, Edinburgh, Glasgow, I think there's Rosignoord and Rhine-Ruhr-Osten, which have Hagen. You can change there too. There's a whole list on the forums, and it's applicable on all routes, which is quite cool. And obviously there's some other routes that are coming out which will also share stations, so keep an eye out for that. I can imagine this is going to be quite a key feature going forward. And we've also got Live Map 2.0, which finally brings labels and interactive elements to the map, which will be very, very cool to see. This is again another one that a lot of people have been asking for, a new map, or, you know, at least a more informative map, so this will be very cool to see as well. And I think this is available on all routes as well. I'll have to double check that. So all in all, some good features there, some quite significant features really. Obviously, you need a core update to support some of these, and just to reiterate, the core game is absolutely free. You obviously need some of the new routes to give some of these a go, but if you don't like the look of any of the core routes and you want to get just Trains' next route, which we'll go on to, you don't have to buy any of the core routes or the, you know, the new routes, let's say, to get any of these features. You can get these features for free. I must stress that. So let's talk about some of the future DLC which was announced during the Dovetail Direct, which some of them look absolutely insane. I can't wait for some of them. So I'm going to throw the August roadmap back on the screen. So obviously we've got the core routes. We've got the MBTA commuter, which is coming out soon. I'm going to butcher some of these pronunciations, but we've got the Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn. No idea. We've got the West Coast Main Line over Shap. Oh, I can't believe I got that right in my predictions. I mean, it weren't the full extent I said from Lancaster, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed by Just Train, so they're doing really good. We're finally getting a Welsh route in TrainSimWorld. I'm so excited to see that, the Cardiff City network, and it looks like a really good route actually, and I think it's going to be transport for Wales, so I'm very, very excited to see that. I used to live in Wales, and I've been suggesting loads of different Welsh routes for years now, so very, very excited to see that. We've also got another new country in the form of the Netherlands. I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm going to say Zwolle to Groningen. No idea if that's right, but very cool to see that. I know that the train that's coming with that is that big nose looking one. We've also got the Tadami line, which we know about, and I think that's probably quite close. It looks like it's almost there, so very excited to see that too. Another new country. So as part of TrainSimWorld 5, we're getting 3 new countries. We're getting Japan, Netherlands and Wales. That's nuts, and I reckon there's some more in the works. And of course, there's an unnamed route from Alan Thompson. I would have thought they probably would have announced their route by now, but we'll see what happens. We're also getting the BR Class 104 pack still. We know about that, so hopefully that's not too far away. But SimTrack are also working on a German Loco, interestingly. And this is a good one. A remaster of Great Western Express. I was so surprised to hear that. I can't believe that they're remastering Great Western Express. I never thought we'd see the day. There's a lot of information in the roadmap part 1 if you want to look into that. But basically, they're going to be including like a whole new timetable. You can drive the 387, like an unbranded 387, like the Heathrow Express bit. That's going to be really cool. I'm very, very much looking forward to that. I can't wait to see that. And this is the little graphic that they showed us in Dovetail Direct, everything from the, I think, quite close MBTA commuter all the way to the Dutch route. I think the Dutch route is probably a more early next year sort of thing. I think it's probably a good 6 months away. Because it looks like it's in early development, but still cool that we're seeing something like that. So here we go. Here's a little bit of an overview of all the stuff that we're getting very soon. I don't really need to read it all again, but obviously I didn't really mention about the MBTA commuter. That is Boston to Worcester, so it's going to be cool seeing Boston South Station again. It's going to be very busy, and I'm not too sure what the name of the Loco is, but I recognise it from a lot of like Trains App videos and stuff. And these are all in no particular order. I don't think these are in release order or anything like that. So, hopefully the Great Western Express remaster isn't that far away. It looks pretty much done to me. So let's go through a couple of screenshots from the upcoming routes and locos and stuff. This is the MBTA, that's a bit of a mouthful, the MBTA train. I'm not too sure what it's called. Please let me know what it's called. But it looks very, very cool. And, the pink is very striking, and I'm very much looking forward to giving it a go. This is the Great Western Express remaster, and look how good it looks. We've obviously as well got the 484. Is that the 484? Something like that. I think they've got a debranded tube stock there, and I can also spot a 66 in the background there. But it's looking good. I can't wait to see a remastered Great Western Express. I genuinely can't believe we're actually getting it. I'm so excited. Here's the route map that they've provided for the other German route. I'm not going to pronounce it again because it's a bit of a struggle, but the Mannheim route, I'm going to call it. Looks pretty decent as well. Kind of gives me vibes of the, was it Bahnstrecke Rosenheim Salzburg? It kind of gives me vibes of that. Now this is the one I'm looking forward to the most, the Welsh route, and it looks pretty darn insane. It's coming with a couple of DMUs, which I think is the 150 and the 153, I think. But yeah, we've got the whole, you'd have services going from Corriton up here down to Penarth down here. Obviously got Cardiff Central and Cardiff Queen Street, Cardiff Bay too. I maybe would have liked for it to go down to Barry Island, and then they could have, milked it with the Gavin and Stacey finale that's coming up at Christmas. But, it looks like a really good route. It looks like they tried to go with a Cathcart Circle sort of vibe, I think, because they did that for Scotland, didn't they? They sort of like tested the waters with Cathcart Circle. So I think this is testing the waters with Wales, and it's nice to see Transport for Wales are going to be the operator, which I'm very excited to see this. I can't wait. You can imagine this is going to be a day one purchase from me. And here's another route that I'm going to be getting on day one. Oh, my wallet's going to be hating me in the next few months. West Coast Mainline Overshap, courtesy of Just Trains. I genuinely can't wait to see this. It's going to be, 80s electric running. Oh, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see it. I genuinely didn't think Just Trains would be able to pull off such a long route, but props to them all. They did a stellar job with Blackpool branches, and I can imagine they're going to do a brilliant job with this. Obviously, that's the 47. I couldn't find any screenshots of the 87, but I can imagine there's some floating about somewhere, so it's looking good. And here's a screenshot from the roadmap for the Dutch route. As you can see, it's the big nose train. I don't know what this is called, I just know it's got a big nose. And it always looks funky on like Trains Out videos. But yeah, it's going to be cool to see that as well. I'm not too sure how I feel about the Dutch route. If it's got a lot of timetable services and very busy, I will give it a go. But if it's not overly entertaining, I might give it a miss or wait for a sale. But I'm still excited to see another country in the game. I'm all for it. And breathe. There was a lot to talk about there. So on to my final thoughts. Before I do that though, are you excited for Train Sim World 5? Let me know in the comments. Are you getting it? Have you already pre-ordered it? Let me know. I can tell you now I've already pre-ordered it. And it's really annoying because on the PlayStation it's got a timer. And when you watch the timer, time goes slower when you're watching it. So I've tried to avoid the PlayStation the last couple of days, especially avoid the store, so that time goes a bit quicker, because I can't wait. I just want to give a Pendolino a go. I can't wait. So here's a couple of my final thoughts broken down into a couple of positives and negatives, because obviously I've got a lot of good to say, but there's a few things that, I would have preferred to see instead of what we did get. So for the positives, a lot of great new routes that are coming, not just the core routes, but, West Coast Mainline Evershap, the Welsh route, like I said, the Dutch route. It's looking really positive for the future Train Sim World, and I'm really excited to see what else they announce. We've got some great new features, which I don't really think they warrant a new game, but, still new features that the community have been asking for years, so it's nice to hear that they're listening. It's well priced. As much as people will argue with me, right, it's well priced. You think that a standalone DLC route DLC is about 30 quid. And for the standard edition, you get 3 of them for 40 quid. You know, you're getting 90 quid worth of routes for 40 quid. You can't knock that. And then as you go up, you know, it's not overly expensive. You think of it this way, right? A lot of people will buy the new FIFA every year, or the new Call of Duty, or the new F1 game, and they'll pay almost 70, 80 quid for them, and they are pretty much the same thing. With Train Sim World, it's whole different experiences. Not every single train is the same, so it's a whole different experience every single time. Every single route that you do is different. You know, it's a different experience. They're kind of their own games in one. That's the way I see it anyway, so I think it's very well priced. In the same breath, it is not a cash grab. People keep saying, oh, it's a cash grab. It's not, because you literally get the core features for free. The only thing you have to pay for is the new routes, which if they came out as a part of like a Rush Hour 2.0, you would have had to have paid for the routes anyway. You can't expect developers to not earn money, right? People have got families to feed, bills to pay. The company have, you know, bills to pay as well themselves. Software companies, you know, use electric, resource a lot, so they have to pay for stuff. Things aren't free in the world anymore. So no, it's not a cash grab. You're not locked behind a paywall. If you're quick enough, you've got 30 days, that's plenty of time. You can get, if you own any version of Train Sim World, you can get Train Sim World 5 core game for free, and I cannot stress that enough. Again, I'm very excited to see the West Coast Main Line and Wales coming into Train Sim World. It's been long overdue, but I'm well excited to see it. And as I've expressed throughout this video, I'm super excited. You can imagine on early access day, I will be streaming it, because I'm going to just give it a good old first look and let you all watch me, you know, go absolutely nuts with the Pendolino and stuff for a couple of hours. So make sure to check that out. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of good stuff. There's obviously other stuff as well, like Train Sim World VR and all sorts of other stuff that's happening. The Roblox game too. So not just Train Sim World, there's all sorts of stuff going on too. There is a couple of things that I don't particularly like about this release. I'm not a fan of the renaming, if I'm honest. I don't like the whole numbering system. I hate it, if I'm honest. I feel like it looks a bit ugly. I get releasing new games, but if you're going to release an annual game, name it after the year. You know, Train Sim World 25, 26, 27. It's got a nicer ring to it. You know, you got like FC 25, F1 24. It looks a bit nicer. You know, at this rate, in 5 years' time, we'll be at Train Sim World 10, and then Train Sim World 15 in another 10 years' time, and so on and so forth. And I feel like eventually it will get a bit silly. So naming it after the year just seems to make a lot more sense to me, personally anyway. I must stress though, I'm not bothered about paying for a new game. I ain't bothered about that, especially if it's free. I'm not fussed. I was most likely going to get the core routes anyway, because they looked good. Another negative thing as well was the absence of multiplayer. I know they never promised it, but I would have liked to see maybe some form of multiplayer introduced into the game. That's not to say that it could be introduced in the future. It may even be like a feature that they're planning to add, but they just didn't have time to implement it into the core game. So we'll see what happens on that front, but I would like to see some multiplayer action somehow, somewhere. Another thing I don't like doing, again, with the whole new iteration thing, is having to download all the routes again. That is a ball ache. For me, it's not too bad. I've got good internet, but for people that don't have good internet, I do feel for them, because, you know, at this point we've got, almost 300 gig worth of DLC. That takes a long time to install, so I do feel for those that have to re-download everything. And the final negative, I'm not excited. I'm negative about that. I have to wait 3 weeks to play it. I want to play it now. I'm excited. I want to drive that blooming Pendolino. But no, all jokes aside, that's my final thoughts. But let me know what you think in the comments. I would like to hear what you all think. And, you know, what would you have liked to seen, you know, route-wise, feature-wise? Let me know in the comments. And again, breathe, compose yourself, right? Got a couple of weeks to wait. Like I said earlier on, in the next couple of weeks, I will be releasing some what to expect videos for all of the core routes, giving you more information about the timetable services, the layers, route features, all that sort of good stuff like I normally would do prior to a release. So if you want to check them out, make sure to keep an eye out on the channel. So with all that said, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please smash that like button and subscribe if you're new. I'd massively appreciate it. I hope you're looking forward to Train Sim World 5 as much as I am. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.